What's up? I see we are in a veil of secrecy today. Do
One of
not
those
see me.
mornings, Ed. One of those mornings.
Hey, it happens. Yeah, I noticed I didn't put on my makeup too good today, but I'm gonna be all right.
Well, you are lucky. You
I
always,
get to pop out of bed and just, with the wind
you're like, I
tunnel
woke up
tested
like
hair.
this.
How you been?
Good to talk to you again.
I know. Hey, how crazy is this, right? I mean, this market is insane. Who knew that a coronavirus would be so great for our
Rates,
real estate market?
mortgage rates. I know it's
Oh
such a
my God.
tragedy, but I mean, I guess for the folks who really need the low rates, it's huge. So can you tell me, okay, when something like this happens, right? I'm getting
Yeah,
phone calls this morning. Folks are putting offers in. They're trying to make it work.
totally.
Maybe they need to, maybe they're getting counter offers. So okay, I'll tell you a real story right now this morning.
All right.
So
I'll
client,
drink water while you tell me this great story.
okay, client clients approved at 5:15.
Okay.
We are getting counter offer at 5:30, maybe a little bit higher, and they are able to get it because they actually can accept that counter offer because of the lower rate. I mean, so that actually
Mm.
opened up their door to even being in the playing field of possibly getting this house, because what makes it so important is there's not a lot of homes that someone wants, right? And the thing is, in this
Yeah.
price range, there's not a lot of opportunities out there.
No, especially in that price range. I mean, the inventory is very anemic, and even when it comes on the market, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, it's like a feeding frenzy, right? Everybody wants that house.
Well, this is the only house. So this is in
Wow.
Martinez. This is the only house that they can actually get right now. That's even in the
Wow.
price range. So it's kind of like, so this is like huge for them to even have a to. So they were at 1 out of 4 offers that we have an opportunity, and so in this case, so you have, with you do mortgages all the time. So this is great news for you, right?
Well, and more importantly, it's great news for the people who are watching. The truth is, look, if you are Humpty Dumpty on the wall and you have the ability to buy and or refinance, guess what? Now's the time to do it. If you don't do it now, the bus is going to leave the terminal and you're going to regret it. The rates are literally at an all-time low. I mean, right now the Dow is down another almost 300 points, so we're continuing the slide. We may capture about another eighth of a point on rate, which is 0.125%. But we're seeing rates like in the low threes. So to your point here, if a person was at 3.5 on, let's just say, Friday, and yesterday came around with this whole coronavirus and it went down to 3 to 3.25, I mean, there's your 15, 20, maybe even $50,000 bump in price. It just takes a small movement in rate to really give you a huge bump in purchasing power, believe it or not. So, yeah, to your point, now's the time, even if you've been already pre approved and it's been, I don't know, a month or more, you might want to go refresh that pre approval.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. So basically, because rates do change daily, right? So
They
if
do.
someone is looking to refinance, they need to um, really be organized enough to get everything to you in a timely manner. Right, that's how it works. Because then, tomorrow the rates could be different.
Yeah, I mean, even today they could be different. Sometimes we have several repricing, we call it, where the the rates change within any given day. Just to give you an idea here, maybe I can show this real quick, is keep in mind that rates are based on the buying and selling of what are called treasury notes or bonds, right? It's not just the whim of anybody. These things happen just like stocks. Like, look, by the time we hang up on this video, the stock price of Apple will have changed. But you
Right.
think to yourself, well, wait a second. But nothing's changed that drastically and that quickly within Apple. So why does it go up and down? Well, it's all based on emotion. Why do you think the coronavirus has an effect on mortgage rates? Because people panic. And when there's bad news, typically rates go down. When there's good news, rates go up. You here looks like right now. I mean, if you look at this chart, look at this. This is how much movement there's been. This is in real time already. It looks like an earthquake,
Oh,
right?
actually, right.
So this is where having a strategy comes in place. And this is what separates, in my opinion, the adults from the children in this game. You want to be a technician. I personally am always watching the markets. Why? Because the first key is to get you approved. Getting you approved is sort of like going to batting practice. You're not really in the game yet because you don't have a house, right? Let's say you're looking for a house, but you're at least going to batting practice so that when you get called up to the game and you're suited up, then you can lock in a example. It's the real game. Once your offer gets accepted, then rates are relevant and matter because before that, you don't have a house.
Right.
Rates, to be honest, really don't matter before you have a house. Now, it sets you at ease to kind of know, of course, where's the ballpark where rates can be. And there's typically about a quarter to three eighths being 0.375 of a swing in rates on any given day, right? That's how it swings, right? So it's good to have a ballpark, but the reality is that it only counts after your offer gets accepted. Then anybody that you're working with, the question is the following. It's not what is your rate, it's what is your interest rate strategy. The strategy for me is to watch these rates, is to pay the money to buy these tools and obviously learn how to and know how to read these technical charts so that by then I have you already approved so that when there's a temporary or one day, I hit the button and lock in your rate like I did a lot of people yesterday. You see the difference? The difference is one, you're offensive and you're being more tactical as opposed to being reactionary. Does that make sense? So you
Total.
want to be on top of it. And you know what people, 99% of people, one of the first things they ask me is, what is your rate? First off, nobody owns a rate. So there's no Ed Diaz rate. There's no my rate. These are the markets, right? So the better question is, what is your interest rate strategy? I want to get people who are watching this video away from asking the question of what is your rate and more of what is your interest rate strategy and what is the average rate
Well, that's
going up.
actually a good point because it is true that everybody, they get these mailers. I get these calls all the time. Hey, I got this
Right.
mail. They say they can give me a 3.25 or this or that. And,
Of course.
and
Right.
there's always that question.
And it's true. It is what, because a lot of that stuff is irrelevant, unless you have a full application in, your income has been looked at, your debt, so your debt to income ratio, your loan to value ratio, all those make a
Yeah.
difference in what your rate would be. So um yeah, like you said. So what is it again? What is your rate?
Interest rate strategy. So and here's another thing. So let me give you an example of something that just happened. So I get a client referred over, and this is to refinance, and they said, well, I talked to another lender, and they said that they can get me, it was 3/8 of a point better rate than the average that I had quoted, right? And I said, well, look, I have what I call a Bob program, BOB, beat it or bless it. You know me, Fatima. I'm very transparent, very honest. I'm the
Right.
guy you want to talk to because I'm not here to sell you anything. So I said, implement up, okay, send me over the LE, which is the loan estimate that they gave you. Let me read it through these 20-year eyes of experience. And if it's a deal that I can't beat and I think it's better than what I got, I'm gonna bless it, right? But if I can beat it, give me the chance. So that way it benefits you. Long story short, she sent it over 2 days later. I read it and I said, the first question I asked was, okay, so how much is that rate costing you? And she straight up looked at me and says, nothing. I said, nothing. I said, nothing. And now she's, because the way I asked, right? Because remember, I got a piece of paper now.
Right.
It's like, uh-oh, right? Uh-oh, this thing's going down in flames, right? I said, okay, why don't you look at the top left-hand side. Go to item, I think it was 8A. Read out that number for 13,753. What do you think that is? I don't know. You mean they didn't explain it to you? By the way, rule number one, you should be going over everything and they should explain everything. Why? because this
Hmm.
is your financial life. Unless somebody's knocking on your door every day and giving you 50 grand or $1 million, you should mind your finances, right? You should know, because by the time this loan is consummated, they will move on with their lives, and so will you, but it'll affect you financially, and it's going to benefit them financially no matter what you do, even if it doesn't benefit you, because they get a commission check, right? So,
Hmm.
long story short, they were charging her $13,753 in points to get that rate.
And she didn't realize that.
She had no clue. She thought she was getting it for free. Okay.
Got
So
you.
at the end of the day, crushed. It wasn't even close to what I could offer her. I annihilated it. It was so night and day,
Okay.
honest to goodness. But that's what this is about. Surround yourself. Rule number two, surround yourself. First off, rule number one, know your numbers. There are no dumb questions. If they need to explain it to you 7 times, and that's what it is, right? Number
Right.
two, surround yourself with people that put your interests first before their own. And then number three is make sure that you actually read things before you sign them, right? Can you
Yeah.
imagine if she would have signed this thing? Right?
Oh,
She would have paid $13,000. I've looked back going, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Because you know who would have uncovered it? Her tax person.
right.
It's time to do taxes because you get the settlement statement, right?
Right.
Those are the rules that you should never budge on.
Exactly. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I mean, so yeah, so I think that so for folks who have put offers out there who are who thought maybe their purchase price, let's say, maximum was 900 or 950 or a million, but now they have an extra this rate right now it's going to give them an extra boost of
Yeah,
maybe
50, 100 grand, right?
50 or 100,000 or even 20,000 or 30,000, but now
Yeah,
maybe those properties that they skipped out on are opportunities for them now. So I would say talk to your agent, talk to your mortgage broker,
yep,
find out what your strategy is because it's all about strategy all the time. I mean, Ed and I are constantly thinking about strategy all the time. Like
yeah.
and everything is different. Every property is different. Every day is different.
Every person's different. Their
Every
finances are
person.
different. I mean, to that point, I mean, look, there's more and more programs coming out too. I've said this before, I believe, like I have a program 5% down to $2 million loan amount with no mortgage insurance. So those days of where you had to pay PMI or private mortgage insurance are pretty much gone. You don't have to do it anymore. There's
Right.
been a lot of little nuances and changes in the industry that have released the chokehold that happened after 2008. And so there's way more opportunities for homeownership today than there ever has been. And here's the other part too, is that these fish are swimming fast in these waters. Just because the rates changed dramatically yesterday doesn't mean that they're going to stay that way. They might come back. Look, the CDC might say tomorrow, hey, we have this coronavirus under control. And guess what? Rates are going to go back up. So don't think that this lasts forever, that the party's just going to hang out. You have to take action right now, not
Gotcha.
tomorrow, right now. Position yourself, because at the end of the day, it's to be the biggest thing that you will have in your lifetime.
Okay. Well, I think that covers a lot when it comes to mortgage rates. So basically, what is your interest rate strategy? That's a good question to ask your team, whoever you're working with.
Yep,
Bad news helps rates, unfortunately, but it does. So folks who could definitely monetize on that. I mean, you
absolutely.
know, it's there for your benefit. That's where it could be a help of help. And then you said rules, right? Rule number one, know your numbers. So numbers in general, like, your team will help you with those. Number two, surround yourself with people that put your interests first before their own. And then number three, read all documents and costs before you sign. And if
Very
you
good.
ever need a second opinion, if sometimes it's really all about relationships, with your team. So
Oh,
realtors and
100%.
mortgage agents work hand in hand. And we are, with our clients, we're all a team. So if you need help reading these documents and you know, and if you need a second opinion, if you're not sure about the people that you're working with, you can always call Ed. Ed, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can call me or text me. Text is probably better because I'm always doing something. I'm Mr. Busybody. But that number is 415-368-1149. Or you can email me as well, ed at Kuno, and that's Kun as in Nancy, O advisors with an S.com. How do they get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me. So here's my value proposition. I get this a lot. So some folks are, you know, they end up working with someone and they're just they're not happy. They really don't feel like there's a strategy, because in real estate there's a ton of strategy to get your client
Yeah.
feeling that their interest is first, and that they are you know in a tough area or tough market or competitive market. Like, how do they get seen, and how do they stay? How can they be in the playing field? And so if you find yourself in a position where you don't feel like your partners are aligned with you, you know, feel free to reach out and see if it's even a match on this end too. So my number is 415-756-4418. And my email address is F as in Frank, N as in Nancy, IKCHEHI @gmail.com. That's my first initial last name @gmail.com. But thanks for joining us today.
All
And
right.
you know what? And also too, you know, we want to encourage, if you have any questions, like if you have, you know, because we really try to do real life questions and scenarios, and we really try to hit home so where it makes sense and you feel like it's relevant information. So if you have any questions that you would like us to cover or any topics, please let us know.
Absolutely. We're always here. We fight full of information because we've been doing this a long, long time. So our information is no good unless it gets out there. So please ask those questions and have a fantastic day. Take care.
Thank you.